First Feedermasters of the year, Bait-Tech Feedermasters actually this year. I've drawn quite a reasonable peg. I've drawn 13 on U, which I think is right end at lake because wind's blowing down the strip lakes. So I think I've half a chance of qualifying today. But there's lots of good anglers here, lots and lots of good pegs. I think temperatures have lifted. It's 16 degrees, 15 degrees driving down this morning, so I expect there'll be a lot of fish to be caught here at Decoy today, so it should be a fantastic match.
I've drawn Cedar 10, which I've never fished before on them strips, but apparently it's the right sort of area. And I'm going to fish short and across on a method feeder.
Good luck, mate.
I hope so.
So I draw Horseshoe 13. Apparently it's on point. Hopefully it's a good peg, so we will see. I never fished here before, so maybe I call that. Good luck. Thanks, mate.
Decent peg today, Elm 17, just off the middle. Generally draw around that area. I think it might be one or two pegs off, but it's definitely a chance of catching a few there. Carp, not many barbel, but could catch 120, I think, maybe. Good win for it, so half a chance, I think. Half a chance.
I've drawn Cedar 9, which I think's the right end of the lake. The wind's blowing at the top of the strips today, so hopefully you want to be on like the top few pegs, and that's the third peg up from end, so quite fancy it. My dad's drawn the peg I called this morning, so which is good. But at Decoy there's that many fish, you never actually really know where you actually want to draw, so hopefully we get towed in a few times.
I've drawn Cedar Peg 13 and I'm next to my best friend Alan Norris, the mighty one. I think it's a fire, isn't it, Dave? Supposed to be a decent peg. We do all right, but as long as I smash Alan up, you can only do your best.
Charlie Simpson from Mansfield, drawn peg 9 on you. Might be okay, wind's blowing down far end at lake, so it's usually not a bad area, so I'll give it a go.
George Robinson, 22 Beastie, never been here before. Been told it's a good peg, so we'll give it our best shot.
I've drawn peg 15 on Beastie, which is an M peg apparently. Never been before, but apparently it's alright, so.
Well, I'm Johnny N-Peg Arthur and I've not drawn an N-Peg today, so I'm not sure what's gone wrong there. But I'm on peg 10 on Horseshoe, and we're on a split section with Beastie. Horseshoe normally beats Beastie, but there's a good chance of a big weight on there today with this warm wind in the 20s perhaps. But I'm more than happy to be on Horseshoe. It could be one from anywhere on that lake. So yeah, peg 10, we'll give it a go.
Hello, I'm Zach Williams of Garblino UK and Bait-Tech. At the first Feedermasters qualifier of the year, I've drawn an M-peg, but everyone's telling me it's a bad M-peg. We're on the back of a warm wind. But I still fancy it, just hopefully a few fish will rock up. I'm on peg 24 now, plenty to go at, but not too confident at the moment, off a word on the bank. But we'll give them our best and see how it goes.
I'm Craig Whittaker, fishing for Maver Dynamite Northwest. Here at Decoy on the first Feedermasters qualifier. Drawn peg 1 on Cedar. Looks fabulous, loads of features, lots to go at, but there's a very warm wind blowing to the opposite end. So we'll just have to work our way into the match and see what happens.
Not sure I'm going to smash it up today, but Mark Harrison, retired army angler from Ashby de la Zouche, the crown of Britain, drawn peg 29 on Beastie, probably at the wrong end the way the wind's blowing at the moment, but who knows. Fish have got fins, as you would say, David, and they move everywhere.
Right, well, good morning, and we are here for the first round of the Bait-Tech Feedermasters. Now, you probably already know this already, but the Bait-Tech Feedermasters is a massive event that goes up and down the country, and it's all qualification matches that you can fish to try and get through to the final, which is at Tamar Lakes at the end of September. We're here on the first round today, which is at Decoy Lakes. Now, there's 60 anglers fishing it today, so there's a section up the top on Horseshoe and Beastie. That is a zone together. And then you've got the strip lakes. Now we've got Cedar and Elm, which is behind me now. That's a zone on there. And we've also got Ewell and Oak, which is the lakes right at the bottom of the complex. Now, the winner of each zone, so there'll be 3 winners today of each of the zones, they will qualify to the final. So, everybody's drawn the peg, everybody's raring to go, so hopefully there'll be loads and loads of fish caught today. It is really windy, the conditions are perfect, to be honest. It's windy, it's warm, there's going to be no rain. It's going to be a fantastic match, and hopefully loads and loads of fish, so you probably want a big weight today. Now, the flyers, we've got some people on some good pegs. So we've got Oak, Barry Armson, peg 22. Now normally that is a really good area to fish. Barry Armson's drawn it today. He's on good form, is Barry, so I think that is one of the areas to watch on Oak. On Ewell, we're probably looking at further up the lake, Alan Scoffhorn on peg 13. He said to me this morning, Dave, can you draw us a peg? I said, yeah, no problem, Alan. So I've drawn him peg 13, and he says he's really, really fancying that area. Even Oliver said to him that it's a good area, you'll do well there, so he's my pick for that sort of area. Elm, we've got right at the top, Jason's on peg 13, right at the top corner. We've also got Brian Nisbet, Tony Curd, Matt Pillar, all in that section right at the top end of the lake. So those are my picks. The wind's blowing down there as well. So the other side, on Cedar, which is in the zone with Elm, on Cedar Lake, we've got Craig Whittaker in this corner on peg 1. Matt Benwell's on 4, Sam Collett 5, but further moving down into the wind, where the wind is blowing into the corner, we've got Oliver Scoffhorn, Steve Curtis, Alan Norrish and Jeff Wiseman in the top corner on peg 13. So I reckon with the wind blowing down there, the warmer weather, that's going to be the better area. So I would have thought it's either going to be Alan Norrish or Jeff Wiseman in that top corner. We'll see how they get on, but those are my picks. So moving on to Beastie, we've got Steve Cooper on peg 5. Decent area, the wind's blowing down again into that corner, so I think he'll be alright. We've got George Robinson on there. So I think they're the best. Probably Glenn Lawrence as well has drawn a good peg in that area, so all them in that area I think are probably going to do the better. But on Horseshoe, we've got Nick Speed on Horseshoe, John Arthur, Michael Buckwalder, and peg 18. So those are my picks on that lake. But we'll see how it goes today, see what happens. And the Hooter's just about to start any minute now. So that's all in. Let's see how they get on today. Right, well, we've just ventured out of the wind for a short few minutes to give you a bit of an update for the first hour. So we started on Elm, and we had a quick look at Zach Williams. He caught quite a few early on. I think he's had a few carp and a couple of barbel. But the early goer was Mark Turner, who was the next peg up from Zach, and he had an absolute monster first cast in. It must have been about I don't know. It looked £20 to be honest. It were a big fish. And then no one else had really caught anything in the first sort of hour on Elm, but on Cedar, on the next one down, Craig Whitaker in the corner, he caught a couple of early fish, but on that side, on Cedar, it was Gareth Lambert that went off on a bit of a charge, and he ended up having 4 or 5 straight away, probably in the first sort of half an hour. And he was well in front, to be honest. They were big fish, they weren't small fish. But the middle of the section started catching as well. Some of the lads in the middle where Oliver is, Steve Curtis, Matt Pilley, sort of in the middle of the 2 lakes, they started catching. The top end, where the wind is blowing, isn't producing much fish at the minute. But like I say, it's only the first sort of hour update this, so that's where we are on that lake. The other lake, Tom Norton in the corner, he caught an early fish. Also did Fabian, he's in the corner as well, he caught an early fish. And the lad a couple are up from him, Liam Darker and Charlie Simpson, they had a couple of early fish as well. But further up on that one, second from the end, peg 13, Alan Scawthorne, he got off to a good start as well. So he was on the bottom lake on Ewell and Oak together in that zone. Oak, Barry Armstrong got off to a good start as well. He had 2 or 3 carp in the first hour. Not seen anyone else really do anything that much. The lad in the MPEG, peg 29, Jim Paraski, I think he's called. He had a tench or something like that. What looked like an early tench. So he caught that. Tom Norton caught a good carp as well. And then further up, it were Barry Armstrong, what were doing the business in the first hour. So then we had a quick walk up to the other zone, which was Horseshoe and Beaster. Now this was in the second sort of hour. The lads what were doing well was peg 3, Matt Bretherton. Now he were doing really well on peg 3. He said he was admitting to about £50, and that was in the first 2 hours of the match. Steve Cooper next door on peg 5, he'd had a good run, he was admitting to £20, and then we got Matt Hayes on peg 15 with the wind in front of his face, he was doing quite well as well. The other side of the lake, where Liam Brembrick were not so great round there, Sean Taylor weren't really fishing very well on Beaster, but Matt Bretherton was the best on Beaster, and he was admitting to £40. So on Horseshoe we saw Dave Clarkson, he got off to a good start catching a couple of early fish. Nick Speed got off to a really good start catching a few early fish as well. We didn't see the other side of Horseshoe because it's quite hard to get round where John Arthur is. We saw Buckwalder as well, he's on the MPEG on peg 18. He'd caught a few early fish, so what we heard, we couldn't get really around to him because we didn't want to disturb the fishing in that sort of area. But from what we'd heard on that one, Nick Speed and Mix Hale Broder, he was catching quite well as Matt Price in that area. So they were the top runners in that section on Horseshoe. But in the zone with Beaster and Horseshoe as a zone, it were Matt Bretherton who was on peg 3. He was doing the business, and he was, like I said, admitting to about £40 in the first couple of hours. Right, so coming for your 2 o'clock update. We've got a few hours left of the match. Now we'll go to the top section of the zones, which is Horseshoe and Beaster. Now the person who's winning that zone at the minute is still Matt Bretherton on peg 3. He's admitting to 67. £67 on the clicker. He's just caught an absolute monster carp down the edge. I've just been talking to him now. He's doing really well in this zone. All he's doing is underarming a feeder round about up to 6-7 metres at the side of the weeds. They go right out to about 10 metres, these weeds, and he's just underarming a feeder in that corner, and he's getting one a chuck really, and he's putting a really good weight together. So he's my top runner for the zone in Beaster and Horseshoe. Close second-ish from what we've heard, Steve Cooper, and then Matt Ayres and Glenn Lawrence, all on that bend where the wind is blowing straight into the face. Horseshoe, unfortunately, ain't fishing that well at the minute, so all the top runners are coming off Beaster, and that's probably where I would think that the zone winner's going to be. Horseshoe isn't fishing that well at all at the minute, but things can change going into the next couple of hours, so hopefully that could change at any point. So moving down into the other zone, which is Cedar and Elm, that's a zone as well. These are all 20 peg zones with 10 anglers on each lake. So the first one, we're on to Elm. Zach Williams in peg 24, he's admitting to about £35. We've got Mark Turner, he's on about £40. Moving up, Dave Grogan, he's caught quite a few. Don't know what he's admitting to, Dave Grogan, because he tells a few porkies, but he's had a few, I know he's had a few. But as you go up, Matt Pillar and Tony Curd are catching on peg 16 and 17 as you go up the bank. The end pegs aren't producing. We've got Jason on peg 13 and peg 14, Brian Nesbitt. They're not catching much at the top end. They are admitting to about 20 to 30 pounds, so it's not looking good at the end where you would think where the wind is blowing in. So that's Elm for you. Now we've got Craig Whitaker in peg 1, he's doing really well, he's admitting to about 30 to 40 pound. We've got Gareth Lambert on peg 3, who was our early leader, he's got about 40 pound. Matt Benwell's had a few as well, not got enough, I don't think. He's nowhere near Gareth Lambert at the minute, but the middle of the bank, those pegs in the middle, we've got James Collinson, Oliver Scoffone, we've got a Polish lad, Slavenia, I think his surname is, I do apologise, but he's on peg 6, Sam Collett on peg 5, and Steve Curtis on peg 10 are all doing the business in the middle of the lake on Cedar. Now if I'd had to put my money on anyone, I'd probably put it on Oliver Scoffone at the minute. From what I've heard, he's doing really well, and Steve Curtis on peg 10. So they're your top runners on that one. If I had to put money in the zone, I would probably say somewhere along the line of Matt in the middle of the section. So we're looking Matt Pillar and across Oliver Scoffone in that sort of area. So I think they're doing really well in the zone. Admitting to 40-50 pound, but it is really close on this strip lake. So going to the end section where we've got you and Oak in the zone, the top section. So we've got Fabian on peg 2. He caught a couple of early fish, but weren't doing anything much through the match. As we get into the 2 o'clock sort of stage, we've got Charlie Simpson. We've got Ben Lawrence, the big dog, on peg 11. He's been catching quite a few from what I've seen. And my main runner is Alan Scothorne on peg 13. I think he's running away with that sort of section at the minute. But the other side, Tom Norton's got a few on peg 28 on Oak. The flyer on that one is peg 22, which is Barry Armisen on Oak, and he's been doing really well. He's been catching some big carp from what I can see. He's probably winning that section at the moment at a push. But we've also got Dave Berry on peg 20 and Andy Levers on peg 16, which has got a little bit of room. He's got a spare peg there, Andy Levers, so they've been catching quite well as well in the top section. If I had to pick a winner from that top zone, from Oak and Ewell, I would say Barry Armisen, Alan Scawthorne at the minute. Not too sure what sort of weight they've got, but from what I can see, they have been catching all day, so I reckon Barry's got 40-50 pound. I reckon Alan Scawthorne's probably got round about the same. So those are your top runners going into 2 o'clock. We're going into the last couple of hours now. It can all change. People who have not caught early on can start catching down that edge, so it's really exciting for this last couple of hours. Let's see who's going to win it. There's going to be 3 that go through to the final today. Like I said, 1 from each zone. Let's see who it's going to be, because it's exciting times. And hopefully I'll do you a little bit of an update around about 3:30 just before the weigh-in, and we'll see where we are then. Right, well, we've just nipped up right to the top of the event now, right to the clubhouse. It's the only bit where I can get where it's not so windy. We've got a few new people what are in front, I think. Now, on Horseshoe and Beastie, we've got a new runner up there, which you reckon that it could be John Arthur. We can't get round Horseshoe that well, so we've only had a quick look at the front of it, but from what we've heard on the bank, Horseshoe's fishing miles better than Beastie now, and we reckon that it could be John Arthur or Michael Buckwalder that winning that section on there. Don't know if he's got enough to beat Matt Bretherton on Beastie, but don't know. Anything can change in this last hour, so we reckon John Arthur, Michael Buckwalder or Matt Bretherton on that zone. The middle zone, we reckon it's going to be one in the middle, so we reckon Steve Curtis is doing well, Oliver Scawthorne catching a few, Matt Pilley, and we've got Zach Williams and Craig Whitaker in that corner as well, so they're doing really well. But if I had to pick anyone, I'd probably pick Steve Curtis. He's doing the best out of that zone. And the bottom zone, I'm still going to stick with my pick, which is Alan Scawthorne. The big dog, Ben Lawrence, is coming into play as well. And we think Fabian. We've been filming Fabian on the corner. He's in the first peg as you get down to the strip lakes, and he's catching loads and loads and loads, big fish as well. So it could be any of those. So like I said, we're in the last sort of half an hour now. It's changed dramatically, and they're all catching down the edge. So we'll just see what happens at the weigh-in. So we'll get to the weigh-in now, see what happens, and we'll see you at the end.
13 to now.
The bread man's done it, I think. Right, that's it. Everybody's weighed in. All the results are being published and everything like that at the clubhouse. What a fantastic day it's been here at Decoy Lakes, and I hope you've enjoyed the footage. It has been quite testing at some points with the wind and everything like that. It's calmed down though now, because we stood round the corner at the clubhouse, but it's been a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed the video. So well done to the framers, John, Steve and Fabian. Fantastic day's fishing for you guys. Right, here we are with the winner, Fabian. How have we done today then?
Well, I drew peg 2 on you. Not a nice peg. I thought it was a bad peg, to be fair. I was moaning for 2 hours. Haven't had any fish in the first 2 hours, and then they just turned up. Caught down the edge. There's a pipe on the right side, caught next to that, and then a few across. So yeah, they just turned up. It was easy when they were there.
Just a few. What you ended up weighing?
200 and I think 4 pounds, something like that.
Well done. Awesome performance today, mate. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Cheers, buddy.
Well, I was on a split session between Horseshoe and Beastie. Drew peg 10 basically in the middle of Horseshoe, right at the top of the Horseshoe. And I've kicked off on the feeder tight across. Had to change my swim pretty quickly after 10 minutes because the bottom was all horrible. Moved to the left and caught 4 or 5 carp and F1s, mostly F1s. And then I had to move swim, and again I caught a couple of Carasio, a couple of F1s, and just ticked over for probably 2 or 3 hours. Could see everyone else around me catching similar, so I was keeping up with everyone else around me. And then I've basically gone down the edge with the feeder, and the last hour, last 90 minutes was absolutely lift off. Some loads of carp, an odd big F1, and yeah, I've had a brilliant day, catching £170 and into my 3rd Feedermasters final.
Right, we're here with Steve Curtis, one of the qualifiers from today. Just let us know what happened then, Steve.
Well, I've drawn Cedar 10, and I had an angler either side of me, so I was a bit apprehensive because it was a bit tight pegged. And I've chucked across and had some nice bream. I've had a few F1s and a few carp, and I've caught steady all day. And I had a nice little spell with probably 2 hours to go, and I was catching well, and then I broke my rod. So I couldn't get it right again, but fortunately enough I had £129, which was enough to qualify.
Well done, fantastic result, and qualification to the final at Tamar Lakes.
It is, yes. I've been before. I hope to do a bit better this time.
I hope so, mate. Congratulations, well done.
Cheers.
Well done, mate.
So that's it. Well done to the 3 framers who have qualified for this year's final down at Tamar Lakes. This has been the first round at Decoy Lakes in Peterborough. I hope you've enjoyed this event as much as I have filming it. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching it, and we'll see you on the next one. Keep on bagging. We out.